Prime Minister will be visiting Japan and China. This visit will take place at the end of the month, and he'll be traveling to Japan and China. The Japan visit is bilateral, while the China visit is to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit. This will be Prime Minister's first visit to China since the Galwan clash between the two countries. So this announcement, this news just coming in that the Prime Minister will be visiting Japan and China. It will be the China visit that will be very, very key. As we said, this is taking place after the Galwan clash. It's his first visit to China since then, after the clashes between the two countries. The Japan visit is a bilateral visit, and from then the Prime Minister will be going to China for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit, that is the SCO. So he will be in Japan on the 30th of August. Let's go across to Akhilesh now for more. So Akhilesh, the Prime Minister to visit Japan and China is really the interesting one.
Well, of course, it is interesting because, as you mentioned, that since 2019, when Prime Minister Modi visited China last time, there was Galwan clashes, and after that, we have seen that there was heightened tension between the two countries. But last year in October, we know that in Kazan, during the BRICS meeting, a bilateral meeting took place between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping, and after that, steps were taken to reduce the tension between the two countries. And we have seen a lot of changes in the relationship between India and China after that. But this is going to be a multilateral forum, because this is SCO meeting, which is going to take place from August 31st to 1st of September. And Prime Minister Modi, we have been told by the sources that is likely to go to China after his Japan visit is concluded. And he will be meeting with the Chinese Premier Xi Jinping and also Russian President Vladimir Putin. And in Japan, we have been told by the sources that he will be reaching on August 30th. And since it's a bilateral visit, there are a lot of areas on which the bilateral cooperation will be discussed. This also includes the bullet train project between Ahmedabad and Mumbai. And there are other areas like the semiconductor and manufacturing, which will be areas of focus as far as this bilateral visit is concerned. But of course, as you mentioned correctly, that the focus will be, of course, on his visit to China, which is his first visit after 2019, when he was there last time.
Right, Akhilesh, this also comes amid, this tension as it is with the United States over the tariffs and the kind of statements being made by Donald Trump. Earlier India was seen as being getting closer and closer to the United States, but now, tension in that particular relationship. So interesting that the Prime Minister will be going to China, a country with whom we've had tense relations for a while now.
That's correct. But as I mentioned, this is part of a multilateral forum, which is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And for that meeting, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going there. He's likely to meet Xi Jinping and also Mr. Putin. So this may come up with the trade tension between India and the US, and also between the US and the China. But as far as the tariffs imposed by Mr. Trump is concerned, the sources are indicating that it will have minimal effect as far as India's export is concerned, because India's domestic market is huge and big. That's why all these export can be accommodated in India itself. So India is, of course, taking into account the kind of sanctions which are being put by Mr. Trump. But India also mentions very clearly that the conditions and the reason given by Mr. Trump, saying that India is purchasing oil from Russia, is the main reason. It does not hold any ground, because India has mentioned very clearly that not only India, but even the US and the European Union, they are also in trade as far as Russia is concerned.
All right. Thanks so much, Akhilesh, for joining us with those details. So that's the big breaking news coming in right now. At the end of the month, the Prime Minister will be visiting Japan and China.